What if the food you're eating today is silently stealing your tomorrows? Imagine sitting down to a meal you've loved for decades: sausage, a ham sandwich, fried chicken, only to realize it's poisoning your heart, your mind, your future. I'm Dr. Thomas, a geriatric physician with 25 years of experience, and I'm here to tell you a story that will change how you see your plate. This is the story of Eleanor Carter, a 67-year-old woman who walked into my clinic on the brink of collapse, and walked out a year later as a beacon of hope. If you're over 50, this isn't just a story, it's a wake-up call. Welcome to Living Fully After 50, where we don't just talk about aging, we uncover the secrets to thriving in your golden years. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, at Living Fully After 50 Official, you're in for a journey that's equal parts heart-wrenching, inspiring, and life-changing. Eleanor's story isn't just about food, it's about reclaiming the strength, clarity, and joy that every senior dreams of. But before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because what you're about to hear could save your life. The shocking start: a plate of poison. Picture this: a cozy kitchen, a steaming plate of sausage patties, a perfectly crisp fried chicken drumstick, a neatly wrapped deli ham sandwich. Comfort food, right? Now imagine each bite is laced with a slow-acting poison, one that spikes your blood pressure, clogs your arteries, and clouds your memory. For millions of seniors, this isn't a metaphor, it's reality. Here's the gut punch: 99% of people over 60 are eating meats that are quietly destroying their health, and they have no idea. I didn't fully grasp this myself until Eleanor Carter walked into my clinic in the fall of 2018. Her story starts with a moment that stopped me cold, a moment that made me question everything I thought I knew about healthy eating. Eleanor, a 67-year-old retired schoolteacher from Ohio, sat across from me, her hands trembling as she clutched a tissue. "Dr. Thomas," she whispered, "I'm falling apart. I can't keep up with my grandkids anymore. My knees ache, my energy's gone, and I'm forgetting things, important things. I'm scared I'm losing myself." Her voice cracked, and I saw the fear in her eyes, the same fear I've seen in countless seniors who feel their vitality slipping away. As a doctor, I'm trained to look for answers. But what I found in Eleanor's case wasn't a rare disease or a genetic curse. It was her diet, specifically, the meats she'd been eating for years, thinking they were harmless or even healthy. Today, I'm going to take you through Eleanor's journey, from the brink of despair to a transformation that left me in awe. Along the way, I'll reveal the 4 meats you must avoid after 60 and the 4 you should eat to reclaim your health. This isn't just science, it's a story of hope, resilience, and the power of small choices. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "The first wealth is health." Let's find out how Eleanor rediscovered hers and how you can, too. Eleanor's struggle: a dream fading. Eleanor Carter was the kind of woman who lit up a room. A former third-grade teacher, she'd spent 30 years shaping young minds, known for her infectious laugh and endless energy. She was the grandma who chased her grandkids around the park, baked cookies for the neighborhood, and never missed a Sunday church choir. But at 67, that Eleanor was fading. When she came to me, her symptoms painted a grim picture: chronic fatigue, swollen ankles, joint pain, and memory lapses that terrified her. "Last week, I forgot my grandson's name for a moment," she confessed, tears welling up. "I don't want to be a burden to my family, Dr. Thomas. I want to live, not just exist. Her words hit me hard. I've heard them before, but they never stop stinging. Seniors like Eleanor don't just want to add years to their lives, they want to dance at their grandkids' weddings, travel to places they've only dreamed of, and wake up feeling strong, not frail. That's the dream, isn't it? To age with grace, not grief. Blood work and exams revealed the culprits: high cholesterol, elevated inflammation, low vitamin D, and early muscle loss. Her kidneys were struggling, and her blood pressure was creeping up. I suspected her diet was to blame, so I asked, "Eleanor, walk me through what you eat in a day." Her answer was a snapshot of the American senior's plate: sausage patties for breakfast, deli ham sandwiches for lunch, fried chicken as a weekend treat, and grilled skinless chicken breast for dinner most nights. "I thought I was doing okay," she said, puzzled. "Chicken's healthy, right?" I leaned forward, choosing my words carefully. "Eleanor, some of those foods are working against you. They are not just food, they are obstacles to the life you want." She looked skeptical but nodded. "Tell me how to fix this, Dr. Thomas. I'll do whatever it takes." That moment was the spark. But before we could rebuild, we had to tear down the habits that were hurting her. Let's start with the 4 meats Eleanor needed to ditch and why they are so dangerous for anyone over 60. The meats that harm, a doctor's urgent warning. Eleanor's diet wasn't unusual. It was comfortingly familiar, rooted in decades of habit. But as I explained to her, those habits were like a ticking time bomb. Here's what she was up against, and why these meats are a threat to every senior watching. 1. Conventional pork sausage, a morning betrayal. Eleanor's breakfast staple was pork sausage patties, sizzling in the pan, filling her kitchen with nostalgia. "It's how my mom started the day," she said. But when I broke down the risks, her face fell. Store-bought sausage is a chemical cocktail: nitrates, nitrites, and sky-high sodium. These preservatives, used to keep the meat pink and shelf-stable, can form nitrosamines in your body, compounds linked to cancer. A 2022 study in BMC Medicine found that seniors eating processed sausage twice a week had a 22% higher risk of colon cancer and a 16% increased chance of kidney dysfunction. For Eleanor, whose kidneys were already strained, this was a wake-up call. The sodium was another killer. Each patty spiked her blood pressure, contributing to the swelling in her ankles that made walking painful. And the saturated fats? They were clogging her arteries, raising her bad LDL cholesterol. Every bite, I told her, is like asking your heart to run a marathon with weights on. A patient's tale, John's near miss. I once treated John, a 70-year-old mechanic who loved his sausage biscuits. After a hypertension diagnosis, he was shocked to learn his breakfast was to blame. We switched him to homemade turkey sausage, seasoned with sage and pepper. Within weeks, his swelling eased, and his blood pressure stabilized. "I thought I was eating comfort," he told me. "Turns out, I was eating danger." Eleanor made the same swap, grilling preservative-free chicken sausage with fresh herbs. "It's just as tasty," she said, "and I don't feel bloated anymore." 2. Deli ham and cold cuts, convenience that costs. For lunch, Eleanor relied on deli ham sandwiches. "They are quick, and I don't have to cook," she explained. But I had to be blunt, Eleanor, those sandwiches are hurting you more than you know. Deli meats are ultra-processed, loaded with sodium nitrite, sugars, and phosphates. A 2020 International Journal of Epidemiology study showed that eating cold cuts 4 times a week raised heart failure risk by 24% and overall mortality by 19%. The sodium was driving Eleanor's blood pressure up, causing her ankles to swell. Worse, nitrosamines from the preservatives were a cancer risk her aging body couldn't handle. The inflammation from these meats was also clouding her mind. Your memory lapses, I told her, might be tied to the inflammation from those ham slices. She looked stunned. A patient's tale, Sarah's revelation. Sarah, a 68-year-old librarian, ate deli turkey daily until she developed heart palpitations. We replaced it with home-roasted chicken, sliced thin. Her blood pressure dropped, and her energy returned. I didn't realize how much a sandwich could cost me, she said. Eleanor started roasting turkey breast at home, seasoning it with lemon and thyme. It's fresher, she said, and I feel lighter after lunch. 3 deep-fried chicken, a comfort with consequences. Every Sunday, Eleanor indulged in fried chicken from a fast food joint. It's my treat, she said, her eyes lighting up. But that crispy coating was a trap. Fast food fried chicken is cooked in cheap oils, soybean or corn, packed with omega-6 fatty acids that fuel inflammation. A 2020 BMJ study linked weekly fried chicken to a 13% higher risk of death and a 12% increased chance of heart-related death. For Eleanor, with her high cholesterol, this was a heart attack waiting to happen. The frying process also creates acrylamides and advanced glycation end products, which break down collagen in skin, joints, and blood vessels. That crunch you love, I said, is aging you faster than you realize. A patient's tale, Mike's scare. Mike, a 73-year-old veteran, was a fried chicken fan until a mini stroke. We switched him to air-fried chicken thighs, coated in olive oil and spices. His joint pain eased, and his cholesterol improved. I still get my comfort food, he grinned, but now it's not a gamble. Eleanor learned to air-fry chicken with paprika and garlic. My knees don't ache as much, she said, amazed. For factory-farmed skinless chicken breast, a false savior. Eleanor's dinner was often grilled skinless chicken breast, dry and flavorless. It's the healthy choice, right? She asked. I shook my head. Factory-farmed chicken can contain antibiotic residues, disrupting gut health and immunity vital for seniors. A 2018 American Journal of Clinical Nutrition study found that eating skinless chicken breast 5 times a week increased muscle loss by 16%. Its lack of healthy fats left Eleanor deficient in vitamins D, E, and K, contributing to her fatigue and brittle hair. The monotony was another problem. Your body craves variety, I told her. This healthy choice is starving you of nutrients. A patient's tale, Linda's recovery. Linda, a 66-year-old nurse, ate chicken breast daily until she noticed weakness. We introduced pasture-raised chicken thighs with skin. Her strength returned, and her skin glowed. I feel like I'm 50 again, she said. Eleanor switched to organic, skin-on chicken thighs, roasted with olive oil. I have energy again, she said, smiling. The turning point, a diagnosis that changed everything. 3 months into our work, Eleanor hit a crisis. She called me in a panic one evening, her voice shaking. "Dr. Thomas, I collapsed at the grocery store today. I was dizzy, and my heart was racing. I'm terrified." I rushed her in for tests. The results were sobering. Her blood pressure had spiked dangerously, and her inflammation markers were through the roof. An EKG showed early signs of heart strain. "Eleanor," I said, sitting beside her, "this is a warning. Your diet is pushing your body to the edge. But we can turn this around." She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I don't want to leave my grandkids yet. Please, help me." That moment was the turning point. Eleanor wasn't just fighting for health, she was fighting for her legacy, her family, her dreams. As Maya Angelou once said, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." Eleanor decided to fight. We doubled down, not just cutting out the harmful meats but building a new diet around foods that would heal her. These weren't just meals, they were lifelines. The meats that heal, Eleanor's redemption. With the harmful meats gone, it was time to rebuild. I introduced Eleanor to 4 meats that could restore her strength, sharpen her mind, and protect her heart. These were the tools to bring her dream of vitality back to life. 1 grass-fed lamb, strength in every bite. "Lamb," Eleanor said, raising an eyebrow. "That's for fancy dinners." I laughed. "It's for you, Eleanor. It's a powerhouse for your muscles and bones. Grass-fed lamb is rich in omega-3s, zinc, and B12, supporting muscle retention and immunity. A 2020 nutrients study showed 23% improved muscle strength and 15% lower inflammation in seniors eating lamb twice weekly. For Eleanor, this meant stronger legs for park playtime with her grandkids. We started with slow-roasted lamb shoulder, infused with rosemary and garlic. "It melts in my mouth," she said, delighted. 2 pasture-raised duck, a boost for brain and heart. Duck was a leap for Eleanor. "I've never even bought it," she admitted. But its iron, selenium, and omega-3s were perfect for her memory lapses and fatigue. A 2019 Frontiers in Nutrition study found 19% better cognitive scores in seniors eating duck twice weekly. The healthy fats supported Eleanor's cholesterol, and the iron lifted her energy. We roasted duck with citrus, letting the crispy skin add flavor and nutrients. "It's like a gourmet meal," Eleanor said, beaming. 3 sardines with bones and skin, small fish, big impact. When I suggested sardines, Eleanor laughed. "Those smelly cans? Really?" But I explained their magic: calcium, vitamin D, and omega-3s for bones, heart, and brain. A 2022 Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging study showed 29% better bone density in sardine eaters. For Eleanor, at risk of osteoporosis, this was a game changer. She tried sardines on toast with lemon and parsley. "They are bold but good," she said. Her joint pain eased, and her mood brightened. For grass-fed beef liver, the ultimate elixir. Finally, I pitched beef liver. "Liver?" Eleanor said, skeptical. "My grandma made it," but I haven't touched it in decades. Liver is a nutritional titan. Vitamin A, B12, iron, and CoQ10. A 2023 nutrients study showed 44% more energy and 37% better memory in seniors eating liver twice weekly. For Eleanor, it was the key to feeling alive again. We sautéed liver with onions, soaking it in milk to soften the flavor. "I can't believe how good I feel," she said, her eyes bright. The climax, a moment of triumph. A year after her collapse, Eleanor walked into my clinic like a new woman. Her steps were confident, her smile radiant. "Dr. Thomas," she said, "I danced with my grandson at his birthday party last week. I haven't done that in years." Her numbers told the story: cholesterol down 20%, inflammation markers normal, blood pressure stable. She'd gained muscle, her knees felt stronger, and her memory was sharper. "I forgot how good life could feel," she said, hugging me. But the real triumph came later. Eleanor sent me a video of her hiking with her family, a dream she'd thought was lost. "This is for you, Dr. Thomas," she said in the clip, laughing as she climbed a hill. "Thank you for giving me my life back." As Nelson Mandela once said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Eleanor proved it. Lessons for you, living fully after 50. Eleanor's story isn't just hers, it's a roadmap for every senior watching. Here's what I want you to take away. Your plate shapes your future. The meats you eat can either steal your health or restore it. Choose wisely. Ditch the danger. Processed sausage, deli meats, fried chicken, and even healthy chicken breast can harm you if they are not sourced right. Embrace healing foods. Lamb, duck, sardines, and liver are your allies for strength, clarity, and longevity. Small steps lead to big wins. One swap a sardine salad instead of a ham sandwich can change everything. Never give up on your dreams. Eleanor wanted to dance, hike, and live fully. You can, too. Your next step, a call to action. If you're over 50, I'm talking to you. You deserve to feel strong, sharp, and alive. Look at your plate today. Are you eating meats that harm or heal? Try one change this week, maybe roast some lamb or open a can of sardines. Your body will thank you. Drop a comment below. What's a meat you eat often, and how do you feel? I read every one and can't wait to hear your story. If Eleanor's journey moved you, like this video, subscribe to Living Fully After 50, at Living Fully After 50 Official, and hit the bell for more stories and tips to thrive. Aging isn't about fading, it's about shining. Let's make every meal a step toward the life you dream of.